Hey guys, we're going to talk about Boma and their dinner buffet, which is our favorite buffet on property. So to start out with, we are first going to show you our tour of the buffet. This was filmed in September of 2017. So the items obviously change over time, but this was what was current. No, not a lot. Yeah. A few little sides changed, but the main courses, I would say, stay pretty much the same.
And I think this is our favorite restaurant, not just buffet, but restaurant overall, do you think?
Overall. Yeah. When you factor everything in, California Grill is a close second for me, but the price is really pricey, and Boma, to me, is a better value for what you get. Yeah. So without further ado, here is the tour of the actual buffet. So we just got to Boma and sat down, so we're going to grab our food now, and I'm going to film the buffet for you guys. So this is pap, chakalaka, which is a South African spicy tomato stew, mashed potatoes, fufu, and orange almond emulsion crusted salmon. That looks really good. You can see in the back where they're roasting the meat over open flame. That looks really good. They have slow roasted pork ribs. They've got some turkey, and they also have some African carved strip loin. Looks really good. We've got Durban style roasted chicken and baboti. We've got chicken bites, macaroni and cheese, penne pasta, marinara and meatballs, and also carrots and peas, and corn. They've got green plantains with some coriander chutney, broccolini with spiced paprika, sweet corn spinach pudding, couscous with dried fruit and nuts, and peanut rice with coconut, soy sauce, and ginger. They've got basmati rice, Cape Malay lamb curry, carrot ginger soup, coconut curry chicken stew, and a Tunisian seafood stew. That looks really good. Got a Northwest African vegetable lentil soup, avocado papaya grapefruit salad, coleslaw, watermelon rind salad, and pasta salad. African fruit full salad, watermelon and tomato salad, tabbouleh, chicken salad, chilled shrimp. Got mixed green salad, some buttermilk dressing, edamame, cheddar, and other fixings for a salad. We've got several assorted fresh fruits and yogurt. We've got a few different types of bread and a lot of desserts. They've got chocolate banana bread pudding, Cape Dutch malava pudding, guava panna cotta, zebra domes, which is a favorite of mine, and they do make that gluten-free upon request, Kenyan coffee tarts, Oreo cheesecake tart, assorted mini cupcakes, chocolate brownies, and some assorted cookies. Before we talk about exactly what we had this last trip, we want to talk a little bit about Boma in general and you know what you need to know if you want to go eat at Boma. It's located in the Animal Kingdom Lodge, so it's actually in the resort. And it's pretty easy to get to, though, even if you don't have a car, because all you have to do is take a 5-minute bus ride, you know, barring traffic or something really unusual.
It's in the Jambo House. Is that what they call it?
Yes, it's in the Jambo House. It's not in Kidani. Yeah. So you can just grab a bus if you're having an Animal Kingdom day. Grab a bus from Animal Kingdom.
Yeah,
it's 5-minute ride. Then eat your dinner, and then 5-minute ride back to Animal Kingdom Park. So it's pretty, for resort hotels, it's an easy one to get to, assuming you're going to Animal Kingdom.
It's the easiest one from the parks.
It really is. Well, except the monorail resorts. They're pretty easy for Magic.
Not with the monorail.
We've had monorail issues.
That's a whole other video.
Yes, that is a whole other video. So anyway, back to Boma. The other nice thing about it is you don't take my word for this. If you really want to go, definitely make a advanced reservation. You can make your dining reservations online or by calling Disney, but you typically don't need one way in advance. You can make it pretty close to your trip usually.
It's a big place, and since it's
really
a
big
buffet, they really move people through.
But obviously there's going to be busy times of the year where that's not true.
Yeah.
Say around Easter, around 4th of July, around Christmas, around Thanksgiving. So it depends on when you're going, but that's one thing we like about it. You can kind of wait till close to the trip and then say, oh, we have Animal Kingdom Park fast passes this day, let's go to Boma. And you can usually still find a reservation.
Yeah.
I don't recommend walking up, though, because since you're making an effort to take a bus to get there, I would definitely make sure you have a reservation before you go. Another side benefit, this isn't the restaurant itself, but is that resort is gorgeous.
Yes.
And even if you're not staying there, you can get night vision goggles and go out and look at the animals. Or if you're there during the day, you can go out and look at the animals. They have a viewing area over the savannah. Anyone can go out
walk
there.
Walk off your food coma.
Yes.
Just stroll around.
Yes.
Or even they have on every floor these outlooks with rocking chairs.
Yes. So, and in the evening, they also have a fire out back, and they tell stories around the fire. So, especially if you have children with you, that's another cool
place,
activity. And you do not have to be staying at the resort to do these things. So, that's another plus to making the trip over to go to Boma. So, without going on too much about the resort itself, let's talk about the restaurant.
The Boma Dinner or the restaurant overall? What do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the restaurant overall. So, we're going to do a future video on the Boma Breakfast Buffet.
Which we tend to do more.
We do it more, and I would say we like it slightly better than the dinner. Both are absolutely excellent, but I think we're more brunchy breakfast people. Like if we had to pick when if we're going to have a big meal, we like to have it earlier in the day. So I think that's just our personal preference.
We book it as a brunch time.
We do.
Typically.
We book
it as
late as they call it breakfast, but we book it as late as possible, which is usually 10:50. That's usually the latest reservation because they close at 11. And I don't mean they shut it down. I just mean they quit taking reservations.
I think they start dinner at 4. Is it 4:30?
Don't quote us on that.
Yes.
Check the
It's
times.
kind of early.
It is pretty early. It's either 4:30 or 5 maybe. I don't know, but check for yourself. Plus the times change all the time. So for the dinner buffet, let's talk about the restaurant itself. So it's on the bottom floor of the resort. It's not on the main floor where you come in. You actually have to go down a level to get to it. And if you come in the front of the Animal Kingdom Lodge, you take an immediate right, and there's a bank of elevators, and you go down, and it's labeled, where the restaurants are. And so you want to come out there, and it's open to the lobby, so it's a really high ceiling, and I think that makes it feel less cramped.
It's right across from Jico.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is a bit loud. I would say that's a negative. There's not many negatives to it, but if it's full, it's pretty...
But isn't all Disney dining loud?
No, I wouldn't say all of it is.
To me it is.
I think there's so much wood in there, it really echoes.
Yeah, well, I guess everyone getting up from their chairs to go to
scooting the wood chairs across the wood floor. And then, even though obviously the seating's limited, the buffet can get a pretty good sized line if you're there during a peak time.
I noticed.
Especially in the evening. That's another thing. I don't feel like when we go at like 10:50, I think that's kind of an off time, and it's not crowded at all, which I love.
Yeah.
We went for dinner this last time. It was at 5 p.m., which I don't even consider peak, but it was packed, and there was a line, like he said, for the meats, which we'll talk about. You saw it on our film, but we'll talk about what we had. So should we get into that?
Sure.
What we ate? So we actually went on this trip for our anniversary. It was our 22nd anniversary. I had to think about it for a minute. And it was pretty cool because our server actually offered us champagne, which was, and don't expect that. They may change what they offer you. And neither of us drink champagne, so we were like, no thanks.
And also by the end, that was at the end of the meal, right?
We were so full.
I was like, no thank you.
Yeah, but it was sweet though.
Thank you, but thank you.
And it was nice. It was a nice touch. So we want to talk about what you had first?
Yeah, so I actually got the Boma beer flight, which I didn't know they had one. And this is actually a proper beer flight with 4 beers in it.
And good size. Not huge, of course, but decent size.
So it was the Tusker Premium from Kenya, a Castle Lager, which is from South Africa, Casablanca Premium Lager from Morocco, and they threw an oddball in there, a Safari Amber Red from Missouri. So I kind of joked with the server about that.
It is kind of funny because the rest are actually from the region that you would expect.
So couldn't they squeeze out a 4th one? I guess not.
Guess not. And then your food was the salmon, I think, was the main thing.
Bunch of good food. So salmon.
And we should mention too, if you're not already familiar with our videos, Brian's a pescatarian, which means he eats seafood but no other meat. And I'm gluten-free, so that will affect what you hear us read off as far as what we ate.
Yeah, so I had the salmon, the broccolini, let's see what else, the white mashed potatoes, and then they had a mix. What did they call the mix?
It had a name, but it was sweet potatoes and white potatoes mixed, and it also had some spices in it.
Yeah,
it was really
that was
good.
amazing.
Yes.
I think we read on was the EasyWDW website. He said he really liked it, so I got to try it
Yep.
because I'm really not a sweet potato person. That was really good.
That was really good.
Let's see what else. The seafood stew was really good for me. I think I got that twice actually.
did.
Yeah, that was
You
really
did.
good. Lots of seafood in there, and then
Lentil soup.
lentil
also.
soup, which was really good.
So you really did some soups.
Yeah, and let's see, some hummus. They have, of course, hummus.
Multiple.
and,
You
know,
got two different
yeah,
kinds.
pita chips, that kind of stuff, and then
Plantains.
and then lastly, I was like went for I think my third run. I went ahead and just tried this the Boma, what they call it, the curried pasta salad. Yeah, I kind of looked at it before. I was like, I didn't want that, and then my last go around, so let me try it, and I fell in love with it. And actually, I've made it twice now.
3 times.
3 times.
You've made it
now?
3
Oh, wow.
times now.
3 times now
home.
at home. It's like a really easy recipe.
We'll put the link to the recipe down in the show notes
Yeah.
if you're interested.
It's like really good.
Yeah. And you also had some of the peel and eat shrimp.
Oh yeah, which was they was spiced up, right?
Yep.
Well, it wasn't plain peel and eat shrimp.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like a lot of food, really good. What was the price on the dinner buffet?
It varies. One thing to know about Disney pricing on the buffets is it varies depending on the season. So during busy
That's true,
seasons,
yeah.
they raise the price, and during slower seasons, the price, I wouldn't say is cheap, it's just more reasonable. So always check the price before you go. And let's say you're booking your trip Christmas week, you're going to pay peak price. You're going to pay the top dollar for the buffet. But if you go, say, in September when it's slower, and I'm talking about by Disney standards, I don't mean it's slow, you'll pay less. So like whatever we pay would be the lower end because we were there in September.
True, yeah.
So it does make a huge difference. So always check the prices on the Disney website. They have them on their actual official website. That's the best place to check.
It's always a good value. At
It
that
really
place.
is. I mean, I would say
I think they price it.
it's $30 to
because-
$40, give or take, per
because
person.
it's far. You
have to make an effort to get
people
there.
consider the Animal Kingdom area.
Further
lodge
away.
and-
It
and the
is.
parks
If you're not
and
already at Animal Kingdom
Yeah,
Park,
it
it
is.
is far. Yeah.
But yeah, it was like everything was good.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was hot. That it should be, and it was really good.
Yes. And we had a great server.
Yeah.
We always have good service there. That's the other thing. Service is huge to us. The food can be fantastic, but if your server is not good, it really can ruin a meal. And every time we've eaten there, I've had like such good service that I actually sent a note to Disney and tell them how good of a job that they did. So we've been very fortunate. And this is considered a normal table service. This is not signature, but to me, the service feels signature.
Yeah.
Like it's really top-notch
Well, and the
service.
food quality to me.
It's really great,
Yeah.
especially for a buffet, because it's hard to keep buffet food really fresh, and it's so good. So I'll talk about what I had. I also had, and also I will put up on the screen right now a picture, and I know it's going to be kind of small and hard to read, but you would want to get a fresh one anyway if you were there for food allergies.
Oh, that's right.
This was something different this time. Used to, the chef took me around, and they actually still did that, but they didn't give you any paper indication of what was gluten-free or any other allergy. This time they actually gave me a piece of paper that listed absolutely everything on the buffet and whether it had gluten or other allergens in it, and I loved that. And if you're very concerned about allergies, they can bring you things fresh from the back so that you don't have to worry about cross-contamination on the actual buffet.
Which is cool.
So always talk to your server about that and let them know if you have some kind of food allergy, and also put it on your ADR. So the food I had was the seafood stew because Brian loved it so much. I did not. But I'm not as big into seafood as he is.
Yeah, I'm a
I'll
seafood
openly.
lover.
He really is. He's like major. And I don't mean I don't like it, but I can't remember why I didn't love it, but I didn't. I didn't love it.
Maybe the broth. I don't know.
I don't
was
remember.
chock full of seafood.
It really
if
was.
you go all the way to the bottom, of course, and dig it up, it's like tons of seafood.
There's a tip for a buffet.
Yeah.
Always
Go
dig to the bottom.
bottom.
I also had the sirloin, and for me, this was the highlight. A lot of buffets have, I guess it's, what is it usually? Prime rib.
Prime rib.
This
Don't trust the
the
vegetarian.
vegetarian. This actually had sirloin, which I think it's the first time I've ever seen it on a Disney buffet. I've seen it in like other city buffets like Las Vegas, but not at Disney. And what was really great is they had a medium rare cooked. And, it's a huge piece of sirloin, not a small steak, and then they cut it into smaller pieces. but they had a medium rare, and they also had like a medium well. So if you're one of those
That is
people who
interesting
doesn't like
that they have both,
yes, I was thrilled because usually a lot of times the meat on buffets is overcooked, and I actually prefer medium rare. So I loved that. It was amazing. So that was, and it had a crust on the outside that was super tasty, like some type of spices. It was really, really good. Not hot spices, just flavorful. And I also ate the salmon. He was right, it was excellent. I got that on his suggestion, and that was really good. I got the broccolini as well. I got the same potatoes he talked about, both the white and the mix, so I won't talk about that again. I got some rice. It was just plain rice, but it was very good. It was very well cooked. And then the sort of highlight for me is, being gluten-free, I can't always get great desserts. A lot of times the only option is like sorbet or ice cream. They had the zebra domes, which they're actually famous for. They're these small little desserts that you can get off the buffet if you can eat gluten, but they actually can bring them from the back, a gluten-free version. So that was really a treat to get to have those. And I don't know exactly what's in them. I'm sure you can look it up online, but it's the traditional one, I think, has a small wafer-type piece on the bottom.
Like
that's the gluten piece.
chocolate graham cracker, maybe, or something like that.
And it has a sort of like a coffee mix type creamy filling, and then it has white chocolate on the top, and then a like chocolate ganache drizzled in stripes, which hence the zebra dome, and it's in a dome shape. And so mine just had chocolate on the bottom, like hard chocolate instead of the gluten part, and that it was excellent like that. And they brought me way too many. Like after you've eaten all that food, 1 or 2 is plenty, and I think they brought me 3 or 4.
Can't remember.
Maybe 3, because I think it was in a Mickey shape. They did like a hidden Mickey
yeah.
with it. You'll see it. I'll put the footage up from it, but they were really good. So if you're gluten-free, that's one place you can get a nice dessert, but they don't really offer it to you. You have to ask for it. Like you have to say, hey, I want the gluten-free zebra domes.
And if you've been to Boma and you're just watching this to see our experience on it, here's a tip. You can also usually buy those zebra domes in the Mara quick service.
And I've heard you can even ask for gluten-free ones there. I did not try that, but I have heard...
I guess it makes sense because the Mara is right next door, so I guess there's probably a walkway between the two kitchens.
And I've heard you can request... They don't put them... I don't think they put them out in the case, but you can actually ask in the Mara and they can get you some to buy. So yeah, if you don't want to do the whole buffet and you just want to go for quick service and try zebra dome, that's a great way to do it. So anything you want to say about Boma as we're wrapping up?
I think that is it. Can't say much about it. It's like our really favorite restaurant. Love the food. Love the service.
We have never had a bad experience there, and we go multiple times. Like,
we go a lot.
We go to Disney a lot. If you're not familiar with our videos, we go there anywhere between 2 and 5 times a year. It depends on the year and other things. But we go almost once a trip, unless it's a short trip. We have some real short, like long weekend type trips, and we don't do it then. We usually don't do any table service. But anytime we go for a full week, we almost always squeeze a Boma in. It's just that good to us. So anyway, if you have any questions for us, please leave them in the comments below, and we will do our absolute best to answer them. And also, if you do love Boma already, what is your favorite food from the menu? Because that can help other people that are new to it and haven't eaten there. So please leave that in the comment. So as always, we appreciate subscribes, likes, shares, and comments. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.